Hello everybody, May here, and welcome to this tutorial on how to customize the Qanba Carbon. This is my first fight stick, and this was recommended to me by a lot of friends, and also after a lot of research for what fight sticks to get into for entry level. This is a very reasonably priced entry level one, as well as a good starter one. Originally from the Qanba website that I ordered. Original price is $80, got it on sale, I believe at $60. I believe, or maybe even lower than that. Anyway, you can find it maybe for cheaper, used, or even on third-party websites. Anyway, this tutorial video will talk about replacing the buttons and the joystick, as well as customizing the cover art for the stick itself. And this will touch upon it a little bit, and what we're going to show you is how it plays originally before switching out the buttons with original hardware for Street Fighter 6. And please don't judge me. I'm still much a newbie at fighting games. Alright, so here are the parts that we are working with. We are working with the all Sanwa parts. Sanwa JLF TP8Y joystick with all 8 push buttons, which are OBS F-30, and the octagonal gate, which is a GTY octagonal gate. The stick and the buttons are from a combo pack, which is $46 on Amazon. The octagonal gate was $9 on Amazon as well. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that sticker off of the screws for the front of the Qanba Carbon case. Now likely and highly likely and highly probable, if you do end up doing this, removing the screws and doing modding, it will highly likely, as I keep stressing, void your warranty. So anyway, when you're removing this, there are going to be 6 circles in the front of the case where you're going to have to remove those stickers that are a little bit difficult to remove. You might need something sharp, maybe like a needle or a pin, safety pin, X-Acto knife to remove it. And then underneath the sticker is going to be some sort of like hard glue that's been dried over the screw. It's going to be silver screws. And it kind of reminds me of when you use a glue stick and the glue hardens, pretty much. So again, you would need something sharp to stick it. Just make sure that if it does end up breaking to pieces, you don't have any of the glue stuck in the crosshair part of the screw, which you see I managed to take this whole thing off, but the next one you're going to see, I did not succeed in doing so. Now here is where I done messed up, so I'm taking the X-Acto to try and pick it out. I tried tweezers, and then the actual thing that helped a lot was those PC repair or phone repair slash glasses repair screw kits. the screws are really sharp enough to get it in there and pull it out. And they actually worked very well to getting all the little glue things out. Okay, the next thing what we're going to do is going to turn this case around, and we are going to remove all 6 black screws in this, yes. And also recommended to get a long enough crosshead Phillips screwdriver, and recommend to also use a magnetized tip one so it's easier to grab them out. If you can't grab out the screw with your regular Phillips crosshead, you can definitely do what I did, was using the computer screwdriver, because it is magnetized. You can also turn it over and make sure that they drop out if you turn it upside down, but just make sure that you do not lose them on the floor in the process. Okay, we're opening the case. Oh, actually, before we do that, there is going to be a quality vendor inspector sticker here. Make sure you take it all off. If there's any residue, make sure you use rubbing alcohol to get rid of the gunk and take out that last screw. Now we're going to open the case, and we're exposing the wires to the buttons and the stick, which it is a square gate. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out the octagonal gate, and we're going to take out the stick and the buttons. And this is actually really cool. And I was told by friends that this is definitely a little bit more accurate to when you're trying to put your stick inputs. The buttons definitely feel a lot better. They're not as clacky and feel cheap as the original hardware. And this is the included wire. And here is the stick. Definitely feels a lot stiffer. And actually feels a bit smoother than the original one. And then it's pretty easy to remove that. So basically those 4 pins right there, you would just pop them out or push them in, pop them out, there you go. And then all you need to do is just pop in the octagonal gate and make sure those 2 yellow prongs are facing you. Or so that's how the tutorial that I looked at before doing this video showed. You should pop in, there we go. Looks definitely pretty nice. And it actually definitely feels very different when putting on the octagonal gate. So now we're going to get the knob. And originally, I didn't even realize it was going to be a metal rod, because the original stick on the Qanba had a black cover on it, so I didn't realize what it was. So here with the case, I mean the pack again, it is a green knob, and you know I decided towards the end I was just gonna go with the black one because I didn't want to put too much green on the stick. Goes on real smooth, and then also it feels actually really nice with the knob playing with it. Nice and smooth, and it definitely has a nice feel with the octagonal gate. And again, this is the power port that we're going to just use the original one in the case itself. Here's the button with the 2 two prongs that we're going to plug in the color-coded plugs to. And I originally wanted to get the ones with the cherry switches on it, but I decided just because I don't know how long I'll be using the stick, so I just didn't want to buy anything too expensive and put too much work into it and then not use it. So now we're going to remove the original stick, which is 4 large round-headed screws. Make sure you save those onto the side. They're going to be shorter, and then those will be the ones that you'll take out. Now, this was the part that I was having problems with because I could not easily take off the knob, and also that black tubing around the stick from the original part was making it very hard for me to remove the knob. As you can see, you may enjoy watching me struggle. Tried to use the screwdriver, didn't fit, so I ended up getting a larger screwdriver to unloosen it. So this one's a magnetized tip. We're not unloosening the entire thing, we're just loosening it a little bit so that way we can just literally, while we hold onto the knob, we'll just move that and we'll be able to loosen it. There we go. So we managed to loosen the ball on the top. Now we move off the cover and we see there's the hole for the stick, and then there's that case cover, and then we take it off. Yeah, and I did notice that it was a little bit not so great feeling, especially with the square gate there. Now we're going to remove the buttons. When we're going to unplug them. Now the biggest thing is that if you're not going to remember what the colors are going to be, you can either look on the chip itself on the top right hand corner, or you can just take a picture of the actual plugs and just remember where they go, which is the best idea. Yep. If you're going to wait a while to do this, definitely make sure you have it on hand, because for me, I couldn't finish modding my stick for at least 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll explain why later. Now the one funny thing was that the pins were actually bent on the original hardware. With the new buttons, they're not bent. So I was debating, like, should I bend them or should I not? But I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave them alone. And they still fit, even though they weren't bent. And there are 2 clips on the side that you just push and they will wiggle out. But I just decided to wait until after finishing pulling out the wires. There you go, so you push the sides and then it's gonna pop out. I was struggling a little bit here, but there you go. And again, I was not happy with how it played, how the buttons felt in my hands. Now that we got the buttons out, we're going to remove all 6 silver screws from the front of the panel to be able to pop it out and put custom art on there. And this Plexi cover has been stickered by Qanba, so you cannot reuse this if you thought, like me, that it was literally not stickered, which I found out the hard way. And there you go, bare bones case. Yeah, and I didn't realize it was stickered. You see. So I had to get a new custom case. And when you get your artwork, you can either buy it third party, so they have a whole bunch of cool different designs, or you can actually design your own, which I did. I used really good quality matte photo paper and a high quality printer, and basically used the layouts they had online to make the circles for the button and cutouts. And basically you can, like I said, you can do it via third party, like Focus Attack has great customization options for that, or you can cut it out yourself by hand, which I did. So I have my 2 designs right there. I redid it again because I cut it wrong and none of it fitted, so I made it light. And I actually, what I did, instead of following the layout, which is I made some trace outs of what the markings would be from the actual cover. And it actually worked out a lot better. I don't know why the online tutorial that the online tutorial with the format didn't work so well, so I ended up redoing it. And it does take a little bit of time because you want to make sure it matches up. And even though I made the gray outlines lighter, it was still showed up, so I had to make it super light and then make sure it just didn't get all weird on the paper. If maybe I had programmed this for my Cricut, I do have one of those, not Cricut, I have a portrait silhouette, so I might be able to cut it better, but the silhouette itself that I have, that actually belongs to my sister, does not fit that large of a format. I would have to get an extra large cutter to do that. You can use a pen or you can use a pencil, preferably pencil so you can erase it the next time, or just pen and lightly draw on it. There you go. So there's the outline. And basically, we're going to use an X-Acto and cut them out. As you see here, this basically will fit as I put on top of it the custom Plexi panel I got from Focus Attack. It is the custom version, which took about 2 weeks because they were really backed up. And definitely recommend them. Really, really awesome website, and all for your fighting stick needs as well. And here's the X-Acto. And this took about 45 minutes to cut out because you want to be careful and you want to be precise in cutting out the outlines, because one, you don't want to see any of the pen on it. Two, at the same time, you don't want to get it to the point where if you make it too large, you're going to see the cutouts and it might not look right when you put it on your stick. After cutting out the outlines of the stick itself, make sure to trim out the edges and definitely make some of those rectangle cutouts you see that I'm doing on the buttons, because it'll definitely be easier to put in the buttons with the side grips. I did mess up here because I kind of tore a little bit of the art, so I used double-sided tape to fix it and repair it. Oh, I was a little bit upset with myself when I did that, but sometimes it's also better to leave it for the professionals like Focus Attack, but sometimes it's satisfying to do it yourself. Now, the ultimate test is to see if it fits. And the case is great because it has the outlines, so you can definitely see how well it measures up. And there we go. So that top button for your menu definitely helps a lot, including those 4 other buttons. And there we go. So I did notice that it was not fitting properly, so I did need to do a little bit of a trim. And I was using the other one that I made as a template. And there was quite a bit that I had to cut off. And trim a little at a time. You don't want to cut off too much, otherwise it's going to be irreversible if you end up ruining the artwork. And if anybody's curious, the artwork currently that I'm working on is basically 4 Mei Lings. Metal Gear Solid Mei Ling, Cardcaptor Sakura Mei Ling, and Mei Ling from Overwatch. And that is just me with my little dragon corgis, and this is my dragon emotes for my Twitch stream. There you go, it all fits. Now, What we're going to do is we're going to grab the parts and we're going to start putting in our new buttons and our new stick. So what we have to do is we have to unscrew the knob to be able to put the stick into the kit chassis. Again, we use an octagonal gate. Both of them are Sanwa parts, including the button. I'm going to take off that plate, put it aside. And we're just going to install it like so. There are the grooves on the metal plate that is holding the controller, and you'll put those 4 big head rounded screws, short as well, on there. Yeah, so as you see right there, I accidentally put the buttons in first without covering the plexiglass cover. I was technically supposed to put the plexiglass cover first, then the buttons. So you didn't see me do that. There we go. So here is the plexiglass, plexi acrylic cover for it. I will put it down in the description below of what options I went with the case, for the cover. And it fits so well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the screws on. And then we're going to also put that cover on to cover the hole. And then the knob. We're not going to put that plastic tubing that was covering the original stick. Rule of thumb when re-screwing the screws back on the acrylic panel, do not over tighten it because it will be possible to crack the screw nodes. On the cover itself. Doesn't it look really cool? There we go. Now time to put the sticks in, and they should pop in just right in. But it's definitely important to match it with those grooves that are on the case, so it will be easier to push them out when you're ready to remod again. There you go. Now we're going to put the pins back via color code from our picture. I had to tighten it just a little bit and center it. And put the power cord back in. There we go. And then this is where your handy phone comes in for the picture of the wiring that we took, and we're just going to put them in again. As I mentioned before earlier, with these buttons the plugs do stand up versus being bent from the original one. It will still fit the case though when you put the cover back on. There you go. Now we're going to put the case back on. And there we go, it fits. It's a nice snug fit. So what we're going to do is that we're going to use the screws. And again, we're going to install them. And guys, we did it. We finished customizing our Qanba Carbon. So if this video was a little long, this was just to show you how to do certain steps for your Qanba Carbon customization. You can do it in any order, but definitely recommend that you unscrew all the screws from the front cover and then the back. Definitely refer to online or make sure you take a picture of the wiring in the back before you work on it if you need help for the gate and the buttons. So we're going to go into some Street Fighter 6 to see how the play feels. And definitely off the bat, it definitely feels a lot smoother, and the buttons definitely feel a lot better. It doesn't feel as clacky as the original buttons, and it definitely feels like there's a more pillowy sound to it, if that makes sense. Again, I suck with the inputs, but it definitely feels a lot better. And the one thing I still need to focus on when doing inputs is the timing, because technically I try to push the buttons in too fast when moving the arcade stick, then button. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you didn't like this video, give it a dislike. Put some comments down below of what games you would like to see me play, and maybe some other things you would like to see me build, like maybe model kits, or some other computers, or other things. Don't forget to also click on the subscribe button to see more videos like this, and don't forget to follow me on my social medias, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram.